right, so we're live again. Another podcast, Clubhouse 54. Michael Little. I stuttered there a little bit. Michael Little's here.
Hi, Drew.
What's going on, Mike?
Nothing.
And then we've got our, what would we call you?
Your side chick.
Our Taylor Swift is in the house. Tyler Wax. Welcome back, man. It's good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So what's been going on with you?
Oh, me? Is this me?
Yeah.
What's going on with you?
Just, catching up on news lately.
I haven't watched the news.
Just ESPN news.
Oh, the big trade today. That was pretty big.
What trade?
Wait, who got traded?
Oh,
Damian Lillard to the
Dame.
Bucks. I didn't see the
I'm really upset about that.
That's going to hurt the East. The Sixers are in trouble.
Stupid move by the Sixers.
Sixers are in trouble. But, this is a golf podcast, not a Sixers podcast. So
I thought we were talking about football. Oh, okay.
Oh.
I'm way out
I
of
feel like
it.
we'll transition to that. We'll get there.
All right. So, Michael, what's been going on with you?
Everything.
Everything. I know you've been playing in a couple tournaments.
Playing golf.
Let's go ahead and let's give a big shout out. You made the national event again.
I did. I made the PGA Professionals Championship
Ooh.
again.
Live from Frisco.
Frisco, Texas. So we're going to the PGA headquarters.
Yep. I want to
April.
go.
You're in. You're
All
in.
right.
You already have a room at the Airbnb.
All right.
With
Yeah.
who?
With who?
Who's
Oh,
he
him and
staying
Nick they may sleep in the same room.
He's not
We'll get them
staying
bunk
with you.
beds or something.
I'm down with that.
Just want to make sure he wasn't sleeping with you.
No, I will never cheat on you.
His wife will be there too. That'd be a little
She's
weird.
cool.
It doesn't matter.
I was with stop with this shit. Okay.
I was with Tyler at the beach, like, what was that, like a month ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a month ago. We cuddled.
And that's gross.
Hard.
That's gross.
It is gross.
We
So
had breakfast. I took him to breakfast the next day.
twice, actually. He took me to breakfast
And
twice.
what did you guys have?
Sausage, egg, and cheese, and
You got extra side of bacon.
the extra side of
You got
bacon,
extra bacon.
some eggs,
Yeah,
hash
you got
browns.
sausage
Is
and
this like a
cheese, hash
dive or
browns.
diner?
No, it's like a famous place in Ocean City, New Jersey, right?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, it's
Oh, you know
famous.
what? Yeah, I think it is famous. You're right.
It's so
Said
famous
it on
we
the
don't know
menu.
the
What
name.
was
One
it
of
called?
the-
I don't
one of
remember
the-
what it was called.
One of the
You just told me to
original
go there.
places, yeah.
What's it
It's
called?
like one of the original Ocean City breakfast joints.
What was
I'd
it
have
called?
to look it up.
He's
I
going to have to
don't
look it up on
You
his
remember. I
phone.
went there
either?
every day for 2 weeks straight, and I don't remember. I gained
How do you
fucking,
not know
I
the
gained
name?
fucking 30 pounds in 2 weeks, and I don't remember.
You ate there every day.
Every
You
day.
don't remember.
And then I hit the same ice cream joint every night as usually my second ice cream place.
I still have the picture of the menu on my
We'd hit
phone.
one ice cream place, and then we would hit another ice cream place.
What was the name of the ice cream place?
Churn was the second ice cream place.
Churn.
All the girls working there called me the garbage disposal.
They had a
Yeah.
swirl freeze machine.
Yeah.
Dude, have you ever had ice cream out of a swirl freeze?
No.
It is the bomb.
Hard ice cream.
Yeah. So we have a swirl freeze at Little's.
How much are
and
those machines?
They're expensive.
Like-
and they had like 5 of
15
them in that
grand?
place. I think so. Yeah, something.
Like,
it was
they're
it was around
These
that.
things are huge.
Because you have to buy other items to go
Yeah.
along with it. So the machine itself, I think, was like $8,000, but then you got to buy all this other stuff to go along with it.
Okay.
Um,
So I'm not putting. We're not going to put one in our kitchen.
No, you're not putting that in your kitchen. But anyway, Drew, you can basically get a blizzard on an ice cream cone. That's basically what this thing does. So
it makes it that hard
no, so like
no,
you
it
can
makes it
mix
soft.
anything
or
you want.
solid?
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah,
solid.
so you get hard ice cream, and like my favorite is vanilla bean with fruity pebbles.
Yeah.
And what you do is
And
you
gummy
put this in
worms
the
on
machine, right? And it's got like this, like it looks like it's gonna dig a hole, like those little like spiral things, right? That dig the holes for the trees or telephone poles, right? And you press this thing down, and then it mixes it all together, and then it pushes it out, just like soft ice cream would come out.
Like a poop, but delicious.
And it is the best thing in the world. Fruity Pebbles and vanilla ice cream is like it's like Pop Rocks in your mouth when you eat
so
it. They
good.
explode in your mouth. It's awesome. It's so
Sweet
good.
and
The mental
savory.
pictures that are going on in my head right now, I'm trying to grasp it, but
That's good.
it's bringing back like the 2 girls 1 cup thing. Like for me, like I'm
But
trying
better.
to like
It's way better.
trying to get out of that.
You know how gross you felt like watching that? It's the opposite. It's just so good.
Yeah, they have like you can get gummy bears, marshmallows, Skittles.
Yeah, they'll do
anything
like
you want.
they'll do a pour on after too. So like
Yeah.
you basically get that mix that he had talked about. So whatever, Fruity Pebbles and vanilla bean ice cream, and then you could do like marshmallow and fudge.
So
and
as
then
you're
they'll put-
eating this, it's not melting or anything like that.
No.
It's
Oh,
you're
no.
eating it like
Yeah.
it's
You're eating
like ice cream, not necessarily like ice cream cake, but a blizzard on a cone is what you're.
Yeah, I mean, think of it,
Yeah.
swirl freeze. They swirl it all together, and it's frozen, and then pour it out. Dude, it's
It's
so
amazing.
And how expensive is something like that? Like as far as like
I should
a
go back
swirl
and look
free.
at, I
Like,
should look how much I spent there.
you should.
I should look how
Pull
much I
that
spent
up.
there.
I
Over.
mean,
then
I
you
think
could-
it was like,
And then
I
you may
bought-
be able to tell us where you guys ate breakfast.
No, I could actually tell you. So
I don't remember which. It was on 32nd
should I do
Street.
just my bill or like the total bill each time I went?
No,
Do the total for the week if you got it.
Yeah, you
No,
can-
I believe mine was. I bought an ice cream cone and I bought 2 things to go for the kids. By the way, it was like 9:30 at night too. This guy's a bad influence, but I think it was like $28 for 3 items. It was expensive,
I mean,
but those, like we say,
so-
those machines aren't cheap.
So
And like,
my total there was like $450.
you can't just
Just
go
there though, but I was hitting other spots.
But
Yeah,
you
but-
can't go anywhere and get that. Like,
but
it's
what
like
I'm saying
a
is
unique
like
place.
that's unique. Like
Yeah.
once you get it, and if you have it at your disposal, you're gonna eat it as much as you can. Like I'd probably be over there every night.
They were
I have it in my
block from me.
backyard.
and they were open till 11.
That's-
So I would hit them like we'd take the kids out to ice cream. We'd put the kids in bed. Then I would go out and get another ice cream.
Honey, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
just-
And she knows you're not going to the bar. She's going to the
There's
ice
no
cream.
bar. There's no bars in Ocean City. There's nowhere to get. Yeah, it's dry. It's
Yeah.
a dry town.
Yeah, you didn't know that.
It's just all ice cream.
I'm
dude.
never going there. I mean, that's pointless for
Yeah, you
me.
can
I mean,
drink
BYO, you could bring your own
yeah, but I never do that.
drink in your house.
Yeah, but it's really nice there. It's very clean. I mean, it's a nice place.
That's where Drake vacations.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
So we kind of started off fresh and hot tonight. Let's go, Michael. So you've played in a couple events in the last couple weeks. Do you want to talk about any of those besides the national qualifier?
Well, all right. So let's see. Last time we were talking about events, we were at like the Philly Open. So we had a few after that. I would say we have a new like major in the area. I'll call it a major. I mean, pay for $15,000, the Silvercrest Cup. That was hosted at Applebrook Golf Club. That was quite the experience for me. Probably the hottest day of the year. At least that's what it felt like to me, the hottest day of the year. And if you know Applebrook, there's not a lot of trees on the golf course. There's maybe like 3 or 4 shaded spots on the course, right? And it was pretty hot. We played in the middle of the day. I played really good. I played my ass off. Played really good. Shot what I thought 3 under.
Right.
Ended up actually winning the golf tournament.
Okay.
Right? And I get home, and I'm like, man, something's not right. I'm like, I don't know what the heck. Just like something's like kind of came over me, like something's not right. So I call up the section, and I said, hey, I think there's something wrong. I said, I think there's something wrong with my scorecard. So I don't think this is correct. So
No, before you continue, when you played in the event and you guys went into the scores table, you've got somebody that's marking you, and then you have a third person that's playing with you guys at the time. Is that correct?
yeah, that's correct. So you always have a marker that's keeping your score.
Of course.
Right, and then you have a little at the bottom of every scorecard. You have
Yep.
a little tab, right?
Yep.
And you can keep your score down there as well.
Yep.
Right. So when we got in, his scores matched my scores, and I'm like, wow, okay, I've made one more birdie than I thought. Wow, okay, like whatever. The heat got to me, right? I mean, there's ball like, so Applebrook is the start of its par 5, par 4 with a blind tee ball. And it like funnels down to the green, right? So and it was firm as can be that day. So all the balls then funneled like down towards the front edge. And then the third hole is a drivable par 4. So like you can kind of get like a log jam there a little bit, right? And there's a lot going on with those 3 holes.
But those are 3 gettable holes.
Yeah, there's 3 gettable holes.
Starting off with the par 5 and then that.
So yeah, so we had to wait when we got to the second hole because the group ahead of us hit a ball out of bounds. So we had to wait. So we're waiting on the second tee box. We all hit our tee shots. I hit mine in the right bunker. This is where my mistake on my scorecard was. I hit mine in the right bunker. Awful lie. Just the worst lie I could get. Wedge it out down where the other two players hit their drives at. So now we walk up there, we're waiting for the green to clear. As it's our turn to about to hit, then balls start flying into us from the tee box.
You gotta love that,
right? So the caddies behind us, they didn't stop the guys. They waved them up like, yeah, go ahead on hit, right? They didn't realize how far the balls were going to go, right? Meanwhile, the guys on the tee box, which is right next to the green, they're now teeing off on that par 4, kind of being hurried up because they're waving groups up, right? So we had like a little bit of delay there, kind of a little bit of a distraction too, because you're trying to hit your shot and your balls are flying into you, right? So I'm like concerned I'm going to get hit, whatever. We hit up onto the green. We all putt out. We go to the next tee. I wrote 4 down. Hot. The only thing I can think of was that I forgot that I was in that bunker because it was like walk in, wedge it out, get out, move on, right? Like it all happened so quick. My marker wrote 4 down as well. So we both had 4 for the score on that hole. So whatever. So we played around, right? We get in, and he's like, hey, I got you for 3 under. And I'm like, all right, that doesn't really seem right. Like, okay, like, let me look. Like, I'm like, all right, like, everything matches. And I was like, oh, you're right. I birdied that par 3. The 6th hole, 5th hole, I think it was the 5th hole. Hard hole, by the way. It was like 215 yards, downwind, elevated green, the whole 9. And then I made a long putt for birdie on that hole. I was putting lights out. Like, anytime I was inside, say, like 8 feet, I made the putt, right? So we both agreed to the score, right? And never dawned on me that the second hole was wrong, right? So I got home, and, like, something came over me, and I was like, man, something doesn't seem right. And I'm like, and I read the write-up, and it was like, lone bogey, and I was like, man, I thought I made 1 bogey. I was like, okay. I was like, I guess I made 1 bogey. I'm like, but this doesn't seem right. So I called the section immediately, and I was like, hey, I'm like, something's not right.
right?
Like, there's something coming over right now. Something's wrong. I think my score is wrong.
And what was their reaction?
Well, let's find out what's going on. Like, that's all. That's how they reacted. It was like, okay, well, if you think something's wrong, then let's bring it to the attention of everyone that was in the group, and let's see if something was wrong.
And in the scores tent, there was no discussion from the third party or the scores or anything like that.
We were all there, and it was like, congratulations. Like, looks like you got a chance to win this golf tournament. One of the guys behind me made a bogey, and it ended up that I won, right?
What was the score you submitted?
3 under.
And what was second place?
2 under.
Okay.
He would have been in
I would have been in a playoff.
It would have been a 3-way playoff.
Would have been
right?
a 3-way playoff.
2 tied for 2 under.
Yeah, it would have been
from what I remember reading.
Yeah, it would have been a 3-way playoff. So I ended up reaching out to my marker, and I said, hey, how many bogeys did I make today? And he was like, just 1. He's like, you made a ton of putts. He's like, you putted awesome today. I was like, I know. And I'm like, I feel like something's wrong. And he's like, look, just get some rest. Like, let me think about this. Let's sleep on it. He's like, and we'll talk in the morning, and we'll just make sure everything's correct. And I'm like, all right. And he's like, look, we'll put you at ease. Like, don't worry. Like, he was like very like, I think that you're overreacting to this, right?
Well, and he's also the representative who signed your scorecard as a marker.
Yeah, but it's not. It's my responsibility.
It is your responsibility. It is the responsibility of the golfer. But as your marker, you want to make sure that you guys are on the same page. And for him to be reassuring I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think he's just saying, hey, this is what I got. This is what you got. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, we got it right, and that's what's most important. So we got on the phone the next day, and he's like, I think there's an issue with hole 2. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, did I make the putt? Like, I'm like, maybe I made. I'm like, oh, man. Like, now my mind's like just playing tricks with me, right? Like, at that point, because you're just spinning. So we're like, look, let's just call in the third guy. Let's just get his opinion of this. And he's like, no, Mike, absolutely, you missed the putt. He's like, you definitely made a bogey on that hole. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, I guess then when I was walking through the scorecard at the scorer's table, I forgot about the shot in the bunker. And then, like I said, like, my mind was playing tricks with me at that point. Like, all right, like, was it the putt then? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of go back and forth.
Right.
Like, because you're at that point, look, it's $15,000 on the line. You're talking about a award ceremony that already happened, right? And now there's going to be a new champion to the event. Like, you got to make sure this is right before you say okay, there's something wrong
Before you issue any kind of release,
right? And before you issue any kind of official comment about it,
right?
So he called. So the marker ended up calling me, and he's like, "Look, man, you ended up making a bogey." And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You're right, I did." I was like, "Man, that sucks." Like, in no way or any shape or form did I intend to do that, right? Like, you've caddied for me enough to know, you've known me long enough.
I've been around you long enough. I mean, those are kind of, if anybody that knows the game of golf, it happens. It happens not all the time, but it happens in golf where scorecards are turned in and fractions get called or fractions they don't even know about, and they end up getting DQ'd. And in this situation, you did the right thing, and because you knew that something wasn't right. For me, I have a hard time with the guy that was the third player with you, and if he knew that you had made a bogey.
But it was not his responsibility.
And I know it's not. But if it's me, I'm getting a part of that conversation, and I'm going to say, this is what I saw. This is what But
here's what you got to remember. After the round, remember it was hot as can be. Okay, like, it was the hottest that we played all year long. There was no clouds. There was barely any shade. Like, I can remember the guys in my group. We would be looking at each other and be like, "Are you okay?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, are you okay?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm feeling it a little bit. Like, I need to just make sure I take my time." And we were reminding each other to take our time and drink water and do the proper things to stay hydrated and keep ourselves cool. Because it was literally that hot. Like, it was funny. One of the players came up to me and goes, "I'm just going to walk around with an umbrella all day today."
Well, Mary Poppins.
Yeah, right. Like, the guy had an umbrella in his bag to try to stay cool, just to reduce the temperature by a little bit.
How do you guys feel about, as Mike, as a pro who's played in a lot of these, right? And I don't know how many have you played in?
I've not played in a single event.
You're much more well aware of the rules than I am.
Oh, I follow it on a weekly basis.
As an amateur golfer,
right?
I'm not a fan of the DQ. I think it's ridiculous, especially.
Yeah, I don't
Mike coming back and saying, "Hey, something's not right." He's doing the noble thing. He's doing the right thing in that scenario. He gets not to say all right, now they have to do a 3-hole you finish tied for first in a three-way tie for first.
At the end of the day,
you're DQ'd out of the tournament as if you didn't play any golf. To me, that seems ridiculous because of.
No, and I agree with you. That's a USGA thing. I think at some point they will start addressing some of these things. I think in scenarios where somebody sees something on TV and calls out a player,
that kind of stuff
next thing you know, they've got either a 2-stroke penalty. I think that's come to a halt a little bit because the PGA stopped giving out their numbers. I don't know how during the Masters, who has a number to get a hold of somebody and be like, Tiger actually took an improper line on the 15th hole after he hit the flagstick and it went in the water. He took an improper line, and so they go back and watch video. Well, they call him out on it. And it's like, who has that number?
Well, in that case, if I remember right, didn't the rules official tell him where to drop the ball?
Yeah.
I think a rules official did. He did ask, but again,
at that point, once the rules official makes that calling, it should be done.
It's out of Tiger's hands. Yeah,
it's out of his hands.
Made.
I mean, I think it's also kind of in the same sense where Dustin Johnson was playing at the U.S. Open and hit out of a bunker the size of a Big Mac, and people have been walking through it all day, and he didn't think it was a bunker, and he ground his club in it. And
I remember that.
Officials said, "Hey, that's." But
that was not a DQ though, right? That was a 2-stroke penalty.
Which lost him the tournament, which took him out of it. Yeah. But what I'm saying is I remember that they had said they had sent a letter to all players notating all the bunkers, and I think there were 200 and some odd bunkers on the course and then so they're notating where every bunker was, and it's like, I think certain rules like that.
Well,
and I think
that's more of the golf course than I think it is the rules.
But I think like just highlighting on certain rules that need to be looked at. The USGA really needs to look at the DQing of a improper scorecard.
I think it really about the intention. That rule is good if the intention is there to cheat to win a golf tournament. That is a different story than if someone signs an incorrect scorecard. That is completely different.
But
we had Mark
the same result,
on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about that, how he got DQ'd from a golf tournament, and same thing. He happened to have the same thing on his notes versus his marker, and they got it wrong.
Was this post your DQ or prior?
This is prior, and I got it wrong. Yeah.
So you had somebody on the pod
talk about how they got
that,
DQ'd.
and the same exact thing happened to you.
Same exact thing happened to me like 7 years ago too,
my gosh! Not for
Oregon.
15 G's though.
But in a national championship.
Was that for a national?
It's one of those scenarios where it's like, well, my match and yours is matched. It's right. Like, and you just look, like, you got to remember too. There's a pressure of the moment that's happening there too. Like,
oh yeah,
that's the most amount of money that I would have ever won in a single golf tournament, right? Yeah. And I'm like, so you have that pressure, you have that heat, right? And your marker's saying, no, this is your score, right? Like, your brain's immediately then going, where did I miss a birdie? My brain never went to where did I miss a bogey. It was where did I miss a birdie?
Yeah.
Because I played so damn good.
And I think that's where the intent needs to come into play.
Exactly.
There's a lot of intent rules that have been changed over the years. If you're standing next to your ball and you're taking practice swings and you're not even looking at it and you hit it, the intent was not to make contact with the ball so you can put it back.
I'm very grateful for that rule.
Trust me, I am too after 8 high noons.
I am too. It would be different if like I've heard stories of, I think it was this year, maybe it was last year, someone was playing in Q school. They blocked the ball way right, like into like a penalty area, right? They walk up there and apparently drop the ball out of their pocket and said, "Oh, I found my golf ball."
Nice.
That's just cheating.
That's just straight up cheating
that's straight
at
up
that
cheating.
point. Like, if you sign a card, at that point, if you're signing an incorrect score for that, you should be disqualified.
Right.
But if you miss, at this point, like what happened with me, like it was just written down wrong. Like,
right.
There was no intent of signing an incorrect score. The intent was, wow, I thought I made a mistake, right? Like, I thought I made that score. Like, it just.
And that's my point with hating that rule is you went out and you played that tournament and you figured out what the score was. You shouldn't be penalized to the maximum degree for that. I think that's insane.
I think it should be like,
and I would think the same thing if you had been the benefactor of that situation. If you had benefited and ended up winning first place because the guy who won first, you were in second, the guy who won first got DQ'd. I would feel the same way for that guy.
The three of us, it's us three. You two mark the right score. He sees it or whatever, and then we actually happen to be tied for second place, but he wins. If I find out that he turned in the wrong scorecard, wins our playoff, wins our 3-team playoff. He turned in the wrong scorecard. His intent was not there. If the intent was there and you chose to cheat, different story.
Right.
But if it didn't, we're having a playoff. I'm not taking this.
I agree.
I'm not taking you taking a playoff.
I'm not taking the win.
That to me is and that doesn't say anything about anybody that participated in the event.
No, because rules are rules.
It is rules are rules.
Yeah, you can't.
But that is how I feel about it, and I think we're on the same page.
100%.
I think at that point, I think if there was not an intention of doing it, then I think that it should be a maximum penalty, right? Because it's a bonehead move to make. It was stupid, right? Like, how do you get that wrong? I played so many golf tournaments. How the hell did I get that wrong?
That happens to every single person every day, multiple times a day.
Well, a lot of people came up to me and they're like, "Mike, how many people did that happen to?" And they didn't even realize.
They never will know.
And they don't even know
Dude,
that happened.
every hole I play. Now this is also because I'm a couple of strokes more than you guys after each hole. But like, you'll see me on each green. I'm that guy, like going back and counting to make sure. Okay, I got every stroke. At least I think I did. Right, doing to the best of my ability. All right, I think I got them all. And yeah, I mean and I'll have people that will put down different scores for me if I'm playing with them. Oh, you had a 4 there. I'm like, no, I had a 5.
Do you know how many times though we correct each other at the scorers table? Like you would be surprised,
right?
How often that we catch one another writing the wrong score.
But it's usually because there's a discrepancy.
It's never an intention of writing the wrong score. It's always like,
and
shit, you're right. Or like if you start on the back nine and then you're writing it in on hole 1. Things like that. Like I've seen it all almost, right? Like,
but that's where I think, and again, I'm not saying anything bad, but if I'm the third person in that group, I'm coming over and if there's any kind of question about it, and I'm gonna say something, I think letting things transpire, and then you doing the right thing, it kind of makes, it makes that third person look like they just kind of, I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think it has zero reflection on anybody else that was involved. It's my responsibility.
I can
to make
take
sure
that.
My score is correct.
Yeah,
and all they're there to do is to help make sure it's correct. If I have a question, that's all they're there to do. They're not there. Look, my marker is there to make sure that my score is right. But he thought it was a 4. And I thought it was a 4. We both thought it was a 4.
But I've got to also say
on
this.
the same hole, which is it's just weird. Like that stuff doesn't happen. Like,
but now
it really
that
doesn't.
you say this,
unless something's going on where you're being rushed or there's distractions, and in this case, there was a distraction.
Well, as a fan of golf and sport, if I'm looking at this from the outside, there's a 3-way tie for first.
No, because that's not the rules.
I don't care what the rules are. As a fan of sport and competition, there are 3 of those guys played the best golf that day.
Yeah. Well,
they had the same score.
All right, let's just
they
say
played the best golf that day.
that the rule is changed. It's not a DQ. It's a 2-stroke penalty.
there has to be some form of a some form of a penalty.
Then I'm not. Right?
Because does it have to be a stroke? Does it have to be a penalty? I don't know if I agree with that.
Yes,
I do.
It has to be a penalty.
It has to be a penalty.
100% has to be.
Because if you don't, you will have this in every event that you run into. And I've got to just take a small break and say, I have been one of the biggest hypocrites talking about this right now. And the reason I can say that is I have played in a playing ability test for my PGM program, and the third guy that played with me, I couldn't tell you what he shot, but he told me he passed. I know he was playing from the 30 yards in front of me, but I know he passed. He said he passed. Yeah. I didn't count his score. Yeah. So I'm sitting here criticizing the guy that didn't come over and check his scorecard. And, so I've got to say I'm sorry to whoever that third person is if they're listening. I'm a hypocrite, and I don't blame you for not checking the scores because I didn't do it in my own event that I played in.
It's not his responsibility. But if I ask him a question, he can respond.
I mean, to a certain degree, though, how much money goes into these things that this is something that, yes, it's on the player, but like you could look at it almost as an NBA 3. It's like you got to hit a 3-pointer to win the game. You got to make sure your feet are behind the line. If you don't, who calls that? Like I get it.
You can make the argument: did Bradbury was that really a pass interference call in the Super Bowl? Right? You can make those same. But golf is different. Golf is different.
Golf,
but that's different because it's with the Bradbury hold. That's a completely different call. Because anybody's perspective, you can call that on every single play. I'm just saying the 3 points an easy way to distinguish it because your foot's either behind the line or it isn't. It's a 3 or a 2.
In golf, it's on the player.
It's on the player.
Because
I know golf it's on the player. But maybe should it not be?
No, because it's integrity, and you've got to hold the other players to that same level integrity of the game. I'll give you an example. I was playing in another playing ability test. Yes, guys, I've played in a bunch. Like, jokes. I played in one where a official was sitting in a cart 10 feet off the green, and one of the guys is moving his ball without a marker. He's lining his ball up.
That's a penalty.
All right.
And I just look over at the official, and the official just kind of shakes his head and just, and I'm like, do I say something to right now? He had done it all day. We had said something to him
I know
once.
that's a penalty.
I know. I'm big on that. I mean, the kids that I teach, don't touch your golf ball until you put a marker down on the green.
How many people do you think break a rule in golf and don't even know they do it?
99%.
No, I think it's probably more about 75.
Of every golfer or of pro golfers?
No, just in general. Golfers in general, just in general.
Because when
99%.
99%
I think it's 90. I think it's like 90%. Probably.
Dude, you're talking about amateur golfers.
Don't know they're breaking.
Don't even know they're doing it. Like how many people ground their club?
No. That's 75. It's going to be lower than that because when you play enough golf,
chance,
people call you out for it.
75.
70. I
Dude,
think that's
it's 90.
You're generous.
It is not. There's not 1%
I've
of golfers
never
that know that they're not breaking a rule when they're breaking a rule.
I've never played a round of golf and seen somebody not break a rule.
You got to remember what's a pro.
You're playing with
pros
pros.
like 0.02% or
right.
something of golfers.
You're playing with pros. That's a fraction of the percentage of golfers.
Yeah, it's not even 1% of golfers.
It's not even a percent. That's
but
why
everybody
it's
that I've ever
99%.
played with that I've seen fluff a ball, I've said something.
Yeah, you could say something.
Everybody that
But
takes
they're breaking the rule. That's what I'm saying. They don't know they're breaking the rule.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, but if you fluff the ball, you know you're breaking the fucking rule.
Dude,
you know you are.
Here's an easy one.
What about grounding their club?
How many people have I seen ground a club in a bunker?
P. Reezy. We got to call him out.
Dude,
hey.
so just that one rule, I've seen that happen to probably 50% of the golfers I play with.
Yeah, what about they address their ball in the rough and their ball moves, and they don't replace it?
Or what about they get a club behind the ball, and they do this on tour a lot. They put a hybrid when it's in the rough.
Push it down.
And hit it. Oh, let me see if I can hit this. Oh, let me see if I can do this here. They do that all the time. Yeah. Now, you're looking at me like, okay, now.
I'm a fan. I do like, I'm going to admit, I do that.
Right? Like,
I do that.
This is what I'm getting
I do that.
But
like,
see, I guess I don't because I'm like, when my ball is sitting down, it's like, well, guess where this isn't going? And it's like the green. I know it's not going there.
Do you take a practice swing in the fescue at all, like just to clear out a little bit?
No, because you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take a practice swing in the fescue. I guess you need to, but
clear
I guess back to the rules thing. I think more people know the basic rules and don't care that their playing partners do that. Because I play for money when I play. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a gambler. And so I'm gonna if I see somebody take sand out in the bunker or ground their club and they're on the other team, guess what? I'm gonna say something.
Not on your team though.
No, he's not saying shit.
He's not saying anything if they're on his team. He's just looking the other way.
I'm gonna tell him when we get in the cart. Next time you ground your club in the sand, somebody's gonna call you on it. So don't do it.
No. But here's my point with that. So Tyler's saying like it should be officiated that way. It's impossible.
No, it's impossible.
I agree. It's really hard, but I think that would be the fairest thing. Look at it this way: on tour, and I was talking
officials. It's different.
I know, but you have walking officials. You have, you have a million four caddies out there. You're never losing a ball.
You have a camera.
You have a
every
camera
15
on you.
feet.
Every single step you take.
And think about this: they get their scorecards wrong sometimes.
I know they do right, and they get them wrong. So
that's crazy to think about. That's why. Yeah. Do I like the rule?
You're talking to a guy in the tech industry who does automation for a living, right? So like, how do we eliminate human error in this scenario? Take it out of the players turning in scorecards.
Everyone has their own little robot.
Yeah. Put a chip in the ball. Right, then when it hits it inside the hole, it eliminates the stroke.
I'm sure they're going to say since you didn't enter your score in a Golf Genius, that's the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are ways to solve it.
Because don't they ask you guys to do that?
Yeah, I don't know who did it. And my marker did it, I think.
That could.
I think. I don't know. I have no. I really.
That's
honestly,
why
I don't even know who did it.
I don't-
didn't do it. I know that much.
I
just
don't
didn't
ever do it, and I don't ever have.
My rule is this: if I'm driving the cart, I'm not entering it. If I'm the passenger in the cart, I'll do Golf Genius, no problem. But if I'm driving the cart, I just got too much to do.
I got one.
You know what
I
I
got
mean?
one thing in mind, and
don't
it's
wanna slow us
not
down.
putting my score in so that someone online can see what I'm doing. That's all it is for me. I like the idea.
You don't want the man watching you?
No, I don't
I
have
love
time
that.
to
You
think
kidding me?
about that.
You don't want to know where you stand and
No,
like, what's
no,
going on?
No. Well,
come on.
but you've got to also think I'm on a different level, so we're going to switch gears. So kudos for you, Michael, for doing what
Yeah.
you did.
Right thing
You
to
know,
do.
I don't care what anybody in the section thinks. You did the right thing. If you are out there and you think Michael cheated and you think his conscience caught up with him and this and that, you're dead fucking wrong. He is a man of integrity, and I will stand behind him all day long as a golfer, as a person of integrity, as a person of somebody that cares about the game and would never be in the game to do something silly like that. And I'm not calling it silly. I'm the whole thing.
I mean, at the end of the day, it was silly. It was,
Yeah,
it
no
was a
one.
dumb
I
mistake,
don't think
so.
anyone thinks that.
So-
I don't
It'd
think
be
anyone thinks
insane
that
to
either.
think that.
But
Look, it was a decision that I didn't even think twice about. It was holy Christ. I don't want to curse. I don't want holy shit. Sorry, I'll curse.
Fuck,
holy shit.
balls.
Like
You can say anything. You just gotta
there's
say
a
earmuffs
mistake.
around Drew.
Like, and it was like, what the hell? Just like, something is wrong. Like, look, the outcome is the shittiest outcome
Yep.
you could ever imagine, right? And especially like, I'm on my own. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a paycheck. Like
you don't have a
that's part of
you don't
my
have a
paycheck.
club backing you right now.
Yeah, I don't have any. I have me, right? Like that's what
Shout
I
out Clubhouse 54.
right? So like for me, like that's how I get paid a little bit, right? That's a portion of my earnings. So that stung even more when you look at it that way, But look, these things happen. It happened to me. Hopefully, I don't have third time of this. Like it's just twice in my career and it's done and it's over with, right? But I now have a different approach to how I will be signing my scorecard moving forward. And where when it happened the first time, it was, okay, dummy, make sure you check every hole, right? Like, don't be stupid, right? And that's what I did. And and now I always make sure that they match. Because I'm like, I'm not going to write it down wrong. Like, there's no way I'm going to write it down wrong. Somehow I wrote it down wrong.
All
right?
right, hey, next
and
time.
now it's like, okay, I'm going to, now I write, okay, am I one under? Am I even? Am I one over? Right. And now I'm writing that next to it as well. Like, and I have another way of figuring it out. Right. And then if there's any question at all at the table, okay, guys, before I sign this card, let's all sit down. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, you could track, fairways hit and putts.
I just
Putts
need
and
a
that'll
better,
tell
like
you.
when I play, like if the three of us went out to play, I would have a scorecard and keep all my stats. When I play in a golf tournament, I'm not keeping that.
Yeah, you
Because
keep
I
all
don't
mine
give a
too
shit when
we
I'm in a
play.
golf tournament. What I care about is, can I put the ball in the hole? I could care less what my stats are in a golf tournament. Yeah, you'll think about it a little bit afterwards and hope you can remember everything, right? But you're not going to remember everything, especially when you're in the heat of a moment. Like, well, you guys don't play in events that I play in, but I can't tell you how many times where, like, I'll look down at the club. I'll think I have 9 iron. I'll look down and I got 8 iron because you're just grabbing it and you're rushing and you're like, I can't wait to hit this golf shot.
See,
Like,
that only
your-
happens
your
to me
mind
after I
speeds
fly
up.
the green by 30 yards and I look down. I'm like, I picked a 7 iron and I'm 120 yards away. Like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, your mind speeds up.
Hey, Mike, next time, to avoid this, don't punch back out into the fairway and be a little bitch. Go for it, right?
I couldn't.
Hit it up on the green. Don't,
By the way,
people who can't,
Don't.
they can't.
so just so you
People
know,
who can't,
Don't.
don't.
I think
Okay.
one of the added elements to this whole story that I didn't mention was on the last hole of the day, I missed the green long and right, and I made like a 40-foot bomb for birdie on the last hole of the day.
Sick.
And I was like super hyped for that one. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it was a putt that I had no business going in whatsoever.
So the adrenaline going through your
And
body
it was just, and I was just like,
electric.
holy Christ. And there's people watching.
Yeah.
They're all cheering like, oh, my God, I can't believe that ball just went in the hole. Like, so I think that may have added a little bit to it, like the excitement. And it was like, holy Christ, I won. Like, wow. Like, like.
Or you tied it up and you're going, fucking stupid rules, dude.
Yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
What I
want to do is this.
I'm hollering at USGA in my app tonight, and they're
good luck with
this.
that.
Is the last time I want to talk about it.
Good. It's in the past.
It's done.
Yeah.
We live in the present. It's in the past.
I want to move on from it because it's been exhausting. I'm not going to lie. It's been exhausting talking.
Hey,
about
honestly, I will say, and then we'll stop talking about this. Maybe we'll talk about the Drake concert that Drew went to.
Okay.
And how much money he spent. But
Oh God.
I'm prouder than you and what you did than, if you won it straight up.
And I'm proud of myself for what I did too. Like, because it was like I said, there was no other choice. There was
It's
no
the
other
right
decision.
thing to
It was
do.
just the only thing to do. It was
the right
like,
thing to do.
okay, let me call. Like, it was funny. I called Jeff. He didn't answer. And him and I were communicating about some things the week earlier, and he butt dialed me, and I sent him a message. I said, "This is not a butt dial. Call me back ASAP." And then I called him again, and I was like, "You have to you have to answer the phone right now. Like, you don't understand. There's something wrong, right?" And then he ended up calling me back, and he's like,
shout
"Dude,
out
what the
shout
hell?"
out to the section for the press release that they sent out.
Yeah,
It was it was spot on. And, the way they handled it, I've got to give them a big shout out for that.
But there was no other way for them to handle it, honestly. They handled it like human beings. It was.
Well, if you want to talk about handling things like human beings, let's talk about my PAT, my playing ability test.
All right.
I'm going to give me 5 minutes.
Do we talk about this?
Go ahead and
Don't
talk.
we talk about your PAT?
I just took one last week at Penn State.
How many is this? I don't mean this.
I don't even know after. I mean, I literally
condescendingly.
lost count of it. I really
Okay.
don't. This was I actually played the best in this event
So you took the PAT last week.
at Penn State, the white course.
PSU?
Yeah,
Did you party on campus?
I did drive down the main.
Yeah, buddy.
I did drive down the main strip playing the UT fight song a couple of times with my windows down, and the looks that I was getting. I got a couple birds, but then I did drive by Joe Pa's house, which I will say there's something special about just driving by the house that the man lived in, even though he's
a legend, dude.
He's a legend, but it was something special about that. Being on Penn State's campus, this is my second time. It's so spread out that it's like you don't really see anybody. I'm used to Tennessee, and everything is there. Knoxville is a college town, so you just see people everywhere. I ate at Cracker Barrel twice because I couldn't find another restaurant up at PSU that I wanted to eat at.
Cracker
But let's
Barrel's
get back
good.
to this stupid course.
Wait, hold on. Is the Hooters still there on campus at Penn State?
I couldn't tell you, man.
He would have told you.
Like,
if it was
apparently
there.
that's, like, the
I think
place
if
to
it was
go.
there, Drew would have been there.
Why? I don't want them to come sit at the table and then, hey, how's your dinner? Do you mind if I have a wing?
Do they do that? I've
Down
never
in
been
Nashville, they
I've
used
never
to.
been to a Hooters, so I don't know.
I'm not doing that.
I've been to that one, and it was
You've
pretty.
been to the Nashville Hooters?
No, the one in Penn State.
I've never been to one.
I was there years ago though. I don't really remember it, but
It's probably better than the stupid golf course I played. I can tell you that much.
There's a
I wish Hooters was there because
So
that would have made the trip
hold
at
on,
least
let's-
somewhat
so
better.
Let's
Real
hear about
quick,
this.
one of the kids on my baseball team that I coach, he's 8, named John. He wants me to take him to a Hooters after every win.
That's
So
awesome.
I think I'm going to have to.
John.
And it'll be my first experience. Shout out John.
John.
It'll be my first Hooters experience and John's first Hooters.
You may want to get clearance on that before you get hit with some kind of
Yeah, we're.
Yeah, how old's this kid?
I ran
9?
I ran it by. We're good.
Yeah. You got to
good.
get it.
Just bring mom and dad with you.
Yeah, parental control gave approval.
You just bring them with you.
Yeah.
All right, just enough about fucking Hooters. This course.
John
so
Daly's favorite place.
Never thought
I
I'd
go.
heard him say
I
that.
drive up.
It's a golf staple.
It's 3.5 hours from me. I drive up on Monday. I drive up to the course, and something hit me as I was driving up to the course. And I said, you know what? Don't go play the course. Don't drive. Don't go see the course. Arrive tomorrow. Play the course as it is because you're going to shoot what you're going to shoot. I didn't want to go out and my times in the past, I've gone out the day before and shot low mid 70s in my practice round, and then I shit the bed during the PAT. I was like, you know what? I'll go out and putt a little, but that's about it. Putting green, awful. Had tire tracks all over it.
Nice.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, this isn't really going to help me out too much. Get up there. I'm hitting the ball well. I've been playing well. I've got a draw in my game, and the ball's going for me, so I actually like that. But I have to say, the white course had construction on it the entire day. We had 48 guys playing in the playing ability test. They had dump trucks. They had backhoes. They had all kinds of shit on the course.
Superintendent's revenge.
On the first hole, there was 3 large pieces of equipment in play that guys were driving over. Okay? I hit a piss missile, hits the piece of equipment and bounces 70 yards almost out of bounds. Look at the rules official guy. Play it as it lies. So that started my day off. I doubled that first hole. So that was great. I was just on felt great.
You didn't think hit it higher next time?
I tried. That's why you and I need to go have a driver session. But I have to say, they were knocking down all of the tee markers, the big stone tee markers. So they're marking that down. They were filling bunkers with sand. They were doing so much construction on this course. I could not believe that they would have people trying to excel their career or to further their career in the PGM program by doing this, by not having this construction.
Were there white lines around all this?
None.
Was it ground under repair?
Oh, wasn't.
They told us on the first tee that holes 7 through 13, any bunker was ground under repair until sand was in it. So they're filling it, and we have to play out of it. Now, they're not raking it. They're not putting it in place. They're just playing it.
I don't understand it. I mean, there's something's missing. Like either someone didn't communicate something properly, or you misunderstood something. And I'm just playing devil's advocate.
You know those kind of things happen on a course weeks in advance because those crews are scheduled. Those big dump trucks delivering sand aren't called up the night before and saying, hey, can we bring sand for your bunkers tomorrow? They're not doing that. So my biggest argument...
We have an opening here in Wildwood, New Jersey for some sand.
Yeah, hey guys, we're going to get to you in 3 weeks, but we got a guy that's driving down the road right now. Can we drop off? It happened...
We just happen to be driving by with 200,000 pounds of sand. Do you mind if we drop this off in the bunkers
It happened all day, and I couldn't tell you how many times I had to back away from a putt or back off a tee shot because it's almost like when a dump truck goes and gets a dumpster and pulls it over the truck and shakes
it. Shaking the ground.
And it was just so much noise. And, we were hitting into greens where they're in bunkers with bobcats and the guys are just working around. And it's like, it was so distracting. Now, I didn't play... I doubled the first hole twice. Shout out to the first hole. And then on the 35th hole, I took an 8. I missed it by a total of 8 strokes.
So I have a question for you, because I played enough golf tournaments where I've had my fair share of distractions myself. What did you learn from it? Are you prepared for the next time this happens? Because you have to assume this will happen again.
No, I don't assume that this should happen again. I emailed the section, and I told the section, and flat out, you guys have to communicate. There's 7 or 8 PATs every year. So if you can't a week to 5 to 7 days out of an event say, hey, we've got 47 guys, just want to make sure everything's going good, nothing has come up, the course is ready to go. Email or a phone call. It's all it takes. I'll never go back to Penn State, and I'll tell you the second reason why I won't go by, because it's a shitty course, number one. Number two, they have supposedly the best turf program on the East Coast. You know, grass. Where is it on their golf course?
I think it was
Because it's all mountains up there. So where are they doing all this grass work? Why isn't their golf courses top notch?
I think there's a miscommunication here, and I think that you had unfortunately had a bad experience. As I've heard nothing but really good things. Look, I really think it was just a miscommunication, and
the one thing, and I'm not dropping names because I will never do that. I will never drop names, never put somebody in a position. But the response that I got back from somebody in the section deserves something that I'm not going to say or do. The response back was, we apologize about the out of ordinary conditions, but, and then they gave me an excuse, and the last line was, just so you know, 17 out of the 47 passed. A dig at me. Because I didn't pass, because I couldn't handle the construction and everything going on in the background. Now, some people may be listening to be like, Drew, you're weak. You can't do that. That's not – listen, I'm not playing anybody else in the field. Yeah. I'm playing myself. I'm not worried about what 17 other guys did, especially one that played 30 yards in front of me every time he teed off.
I wanted to ask you why.
Because he's a senior. So if you I guess reach the age of 60
or 65.
need to go.
Oh, they lowered it to 60, didn't they?
Yeah, so you can they let them play up closer, and so no dig on him, but he has eight. He had like a 7 and an 8 hybrid that he was hitting in the par threes. No dig on that, but he played closer. Good,
Drew,
good for him.
Maybe that should be your strategy. Just wait till you can go up there and play those tees.
Dude, that's a lot of money, man.
Just don't do the PAT until.
No, but I got to do it
a couple more years.
I have to wait a couple more
15 more years, right? Just wait 15 more years, and you're good to go.
I have 8 to do it, so no, I can't wait 15.
Well, then just reset again for another 8.
Well, no, I'm not gonna go travel 3.5 hours, stay overnight, and be subjected to that kind of stuff in order to try to further my career. So I'm going to find other places. So if you're listening to this, whoever you are out there, I'm going to play in different – I'm going to go play in Jersey. I'm going to play in Florida. I'll play anywhere that I can pass this PAT where I know that I'm not going to have to put up with this.
All right.
And then the response back's not going to be, should have done better.
Yeah, and tag the Hooters.
Can I caddy for you,
local,
please?
So you're
It's
not
36 holes, and are you willing – like the way they
I'm
have
willing to walk around for 36 holes and clean your golf balls
keep calm?
and keep you calm. And when you get in those situations, calm you down.
Yeah.
Because
But
obviously you were worked up.
No,
it's obvious.
what worked me up? No, I got worked up more after the event than I did during it. Because the 3 guys they're all having to do the same thing, that listen to the same thing I am. I wasn't bitching and moaning to them, but we were all voicing our, I can't believe this is going on today. And then we'd be about to tee off. And I literally have a video of a dump truck that passes me 4 feet, like to my left. Like, again, that's just not ordinary. And for the PGA section, the Philly section, to think that this was not something that could have been, they could have called me the night before and said, listen, they've got construction going on. We're going to cancel the event. Cool.
Something happened, man. There was a miscommunication somewhere.
Again.
Don't they have multiple golf courses there?
2.
Was it construction on both courses?
No.
Yeah, it must have been
Could have switched it to blue.
There must have been a miscommunication on what course was being constructed. There has to be something like that. There's no way that was done intentionally.
I don't think it was done
There's
intentionally.
no
I just think that some of the people in charge, again, they're just not paying attention. Again, it takes an email or a phone call. And both of those things are not hard to do when you only have 8 PATs scheduled, and Penn State gets 3 of them.
Well, I'm sorry that you had that experience, but it's I'm not trying to make an excuse for anybody, but I've never had any kind of experience like that with the Philadelphia PGA. They've done nothing but run fantastic events. And
They need to do some work.
There's times when, like in April, maybe sometimes in August where we'll get some conditions that are not the best, but there's just nothing they can do about it. So they're not going to cancel it.
It
right?
was
like
60,
it's already on the calendar.
68 was the high for
What
the
do
day.
you have to shoot to pass?
So that day it was 157 total in 36 holes.
Okay.
I shot 164, 165.
What did you shoot on the first 18 and the?
84 on the first one, and an 81 with an 8 on the 35th hole. I was 110 yards out. It's like I'm sitting pretty good on this. I'm feeling good, and I snap hooked a 52 degree into the woods.
You hooked a 52 degree?
Yeah.
Wow.
Was it a par 3?
No, it was a par 4. I was like 120 something yards out.
You had already hit your drive.
I'd already hit my drive,
okay.
and my 52 just came off hot, and it just drew right into the trees, and then I got up and 3-putted, and it was over with at that point.
I want to know how
How
many.
do you snap hook
That's what I want to know.
54?
That's it's
56,
pressure maybe.
52? Any of that?
I mean, I've got a draw going on in my game right now.
Yeah.
I think he meant a hook when he said draw.
Yeah, that's.
I've got
something.
I mean, I've got it, and it's affected every club. But I'm getting more distance out of it if I put it in the right spot.
Roll out. Yep.
If I overcook it, it's
in the woods.
No, it's just going. It's going.
How many people do you think have experiences like that in the PAT? How many people do you think?
Out of all the ones that I've taken, I've never had that. Course conditions, one thing. Construction going on during. When I said they were knocking over these big T signs, I couldn't tell which hole I was going to next because I didn't know which hole it was. They're knocking over the signs and they're face down, so it was the backs of the T sign. So, and when I say these big stone, and they're deep in the ground. And so, again, that's the kind of stuff. There were a couple, and the only reason that I knew which hole I was on is I had a kid that was in the program in my group.
I'm still just baffled.
And he was like,
you should have live
you sent me the videos. You sent me the pictures. Like, you're not lying. Like, this did happen. You're not lying about it. But it's just, I'm just baffled by the whole situation. Like,
and you know what?
I'm trying to figure out how this happened. Like, how did the miscommunication happen so much that there's that much construction going on in the course with a PAT, other than the fact that no one cares.
I still have my response to the person that responded to me in my saved emails, and I read it every morning, just assuring myself it does not matter anymore. Let it go.
Yeah,
let it go.
I mean, you gotta
Stop reading it.
You got to.
But it's a good response, man. It's so good. It's not insulting, but it's powerful. It's just it's so what needs to be said.
You should read it live here on the pod.
No, don't.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I read it. Don't.
I read it. Don't.
It's powerful. You have to admit it's powerful.
He showed it to me. He goes, "What do you think?" I said, "Put it back in your pocket."
He said, "I read it. Don't."
I mean, look. Just what I would do is, I mean, you already said what you wanted to say about the situation, and look, I get it, but you have to give. Yeah, they have to understand that something was miscommunicated, and obviously someone's trying to do their best to make it okay. And you're heated about the situation. I understand. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of stress, right? There could be, like, you take pride in becoming a PGA professional, right?
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing if you can't get through.
No, and
it's embarrassing.
don't get me wrong.
I understand that.
I hit some good shots, and I was like, man, I'm right there. I'm there. And then I'd hit a bad shot, and I'm blaming it on the construction going on. Now, again, we're all human. We do that. But it was an added distraction that I didn't need. And, big shout out to them, the lunch that they provided for us.
He just bashed the hell out of him now. He's giving him a shout out.
Fucking lunch was bitching though, man.
The lunch was
so
for what I paid.
yeah.
We got a team.
They should have made me 15 of them. But big shout out that they sell alcohol at the
Shout out for the
at
alcohol.
the Penn State courses. They do sell alcohol.
Drew had a whole
I
case
did not
on
get
the
any,
Ryder.
but they do. I checked it out. They do
shit.
sell it at the courses, so that's kind of cool. I've not really ever been to
That's
a
interesting.
university course that sold alcohol.
On a college campus. How many fake IDs go out around there, huh?
They can sell alcohol, but they can't put grass on their grounds.
Here we go. Jesus Christmas. You got it at a bad time, Drew. I get it, but unfortunately, you got to get over it.
I stepped in a bunker. You know how sometimes you have to get your feet in there and work your feet in?
He fell into it.
No. You didn't have to work your feet in because your feet automatically sunk into the sand because it was just poured in there.
Maybe
You
this
had to
is
hit out of
part
that?
of
Mm-hmm.
maybe this is
Nice.
part of your level. Is this somewhere in level 1 where you have to go through this type of experience?
It's like initiation.
And
you
and
know?
now like they're gonna listen to this podcast and be like, we don't want this guy's a PGA member. No way.
Nah,
We have to
next
make
round will be
sure
easy,
every
dude.
PAT he signs up for, there's construction going on the golf course moving
Well,
forward.
all I can say is if somebody is listening to this and you know who you are, don't take it personal. But, you could do a better job. So let's move on to something
else we
fun.
got?
Let's
Yeah.
move on to something fun. The National Championship in Frisco.
So here's something interesting. So there was, what was it, 2 years ago? So we played in our section championship. Third round got rained out.
And you had a hell of a round.
I had
and got
one-
into like 6th place.
No, I got into third place.
Oh, third place. Okay.
Potentially going into second. Potentially, that person's round never finished because they were still on the golf course. So I catapult. I had one of the greatest. To me, it's one of the greatest rounds of my life. Okay, and I'm not going to call out the year or the course or anything like that because we just don't need to go there. But anyway, another person would have ended up winning the golf tournament. So myself and that person were affected by the situation. Weather came in. That round ended up getting canceled. They went back to round 2. So this year in our section championship, they told us in round 1, hey, we have the right to stop this at 36 holes. Okay. So I'm just going back and going, okay, I know what happened last time. I better be in the cut line after 36 holes because there's no chance we're playing the third round this year. Like, that was in my head when I teed off the first
because
round.
of weather or
Yeah.
Because of weather.
Okay.
Weather.
So we play our first 2 rounds, making putts left and right, round 1, round 2, just kind of like just make sure you don't do anything stupid round, right? So I ended up 1 under after 2 rounds. So the champion shoots 67, 10 under par, okay?
Not bad.
And he was the guy that was affected a couple years ago where if they would have completed that one, he would have won.
Wow. Love a redemption story.
So, to my knowledge, I could be wrong. There could be other people involved, but to my knowledge, we were the 2 that were affected, say, the most a couple years ago,
Yep.
right? And now both of us are back in a similar type situation, just reversing the roles, right? And I'm saying I'm on the ride home, and I think I actually talked to you on the phone, Drew.
Uh-huh.
I'm on the ride home, and I'm going, there's no way they're playing golf tomorrow. I actually said it to Braden. When I got done, Braden was like, can you believe blah, 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 so-and-so had that round again today? Like, great playing by him, this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, he won. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, we're not playing golf tomorrow. I was like, there's no way we're playing golf tomorrow. I said, they already said to us, like, weather's coming in. I'm like, we're not playing tomorrow. There's
Conditions
no
aren't
way.
conducive.
Right? Like, because I knew what was coming. Like, this is like, it's a perfect situation here. Like, if there's a threat that we can't play, let's cancel it. Not that I'm saying that they did it on purpose to give him the win. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But,
Right.
like, the situation was setting up for it.
Yeah.
And that's what ended up happening. We got a text at, like, I think it was like 6:30 in the morning that was like, play suspended for a few hours. We may do like a shotgun start, this, that, and the other. And then I'm like, well, man, I got to drive all the way up to Scranton because I had to come home for my daughter's softball game because I'm coaching again. And I called and I was like, hey, like, I'm getting ready to get in my car and come up. Like, what's going on? Can you just give me some kind of info before I drive 2 hours? And they're like, just stay at home. We're canceling the tournament. And I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" And I'm like,
Hey,
"I got in." I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh my goodness!" Like this is crazy because just a few years ago, like I didn't get in on the same exact situation. Now, the difference between that and this year was a couple years ago. We all finished the third round, other than one group of players.
And they had 4 holes left, I think.
No, they had 2.
Oh, that's even worse.
I was on property. I was there. They had 2 holes left, and they canceled the third round with 2 holes left. Look,
How
they
bad was
made
the
the
weather?
announcement on the first tee. If everyone doesn't finish, we're going back to round 2 results. They did exactly what they said
was the weather
was going to
when they
happen.
canceled?
I'm sorry?
How bad was the weather when they
This
canceled?
this was during a hurricane when like all the flooding happened a couple years ago. This was like I think 2021, Drew,
So not
right?
bad.
Yeah.
2021.
They could have played through.
No. No, like people like drowned like in their car. Like it was like there was
Where
the
you were
flooding.
at?
Yeah, the flood. There was tornadoes that
Where?
touched down like the whole night. Not this year, a couple of years ago.
Where?
It was down in like Malvern area. where
But
we
there were
were.
also people that up in Bucks County that
Yeah, Bucks County. Remember all those
What
tornadoes?
What? Oh, those
That
tornadoes.
was that storm.
Yeah,
It was
that-
that
You
storm.
played in that?
We played in that. I shot 67.
but it didn't that didn't hit
from 7,200
you played
yards.
in those storms.
but
Yes.
no, those storms didn't actually hit. Those tornadoes didn't hit until after.
Well, right,
Yeah,
but the
but
storms,
it was
the
leading up
storms
to that.
leading
the
up
storms
to it
coming
were
yeah, they were
horrific.
coming.
They were 30, 40 mile an hour winds.
They
were.
It was
It was-
raining.
it
like,
was
it was
horrible.
a terrible day.
But
Terrible
I
day.
still think if you got
Holy
one group that's
cow.
got 2 holes left, you do whatever you can.
I
to
can't
get
believe
in.
they
No,
even played.
no,
I can't believe
they-
they even started.
I respect them for what they did. Did it hurt? Did
It's
it
player
sting?
safety at that point.
Yeah, like
I mean-
well, no, it was
It's not
no,
player
it was,
safety.
They canceled it because I mean they just got destroyed with rain. Like it was the right. It
How
was the right
much
call.
rain was on the course?
I mean the course is
Buckets.
already saturated,
Buckets.
and then I mean you talk like I couldn't see on
Had
the right.
you
I was
already-
scared. I was actually scared.
It
on the
came.
way home.
It
Had you
came
already
down.
played in the saturation though? Did you like?
No, I played in the wind with a little bit of rain, off and on
Okay.
rain, but it was more wind.
And
than
then it
anything
was
else.
dumping when they
and
were
then
on.
like you could hear it coming in, and these guys are on 17, and I'm just sitting there like praying, like please just get in, just don't go off, don't go off, don't go off, and boom, the siren goes off, and they still had 2 holes to play. And in this particular course, 17 was a 240-yard par 3 over water,
Yeah.
and then 18 is not the easiest hole. Let's just say that.
Okay.
Okay. And I think I was like 1 shot. I was in 3rd place, and I was like 1 shot behind the player that had 2 holes. to
You had the
play.
best round of the day.
Oh, yeah. By far. By far.
Catapulted from not making.
I'm catapulted from 18th to 3rd place. Yeah,
That's a good round.
I mean, it was like
And
it
that
was
just-
one of the better rounds
and
of the
that's
year.
a
Most
stinger
likely.
to know that you did that, and then they have to go they retro. But you got to give the section. You can give them a shout out, but
Yeah, they called it.
the section for doing the right thing this year and not even letting the 3rd round
Exactly.
take off.
And that's where I think they made the right
because
choice this year.
again, somebody could have catapulted like they
Yep.
you did, and then they'd be in the same position. So
Does it stink for all the players that didn't have the opportunity to then go out there and play their hearts out on
Yep.
the 3rd round to try
Yep.
to get in? Yes, it does. But knowing on the first tee, round 1, they said we have the right to change this to a 36-hole event. So at that point, you have to treat it like it's a 36-hole event.
and you've got to know that your incident probably is the reason that they came and said that.
I would assume that the years prior, yes, had a big influence in that. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great for the champion. I mean, just a great dude.
Yeah, it's a good
works
redemption story.
Works his tail off.
Speaking of a champion, one of our own won this week. Big bash.
Yeah, Anthony
Baby
Sebastianelli.
McAfee.
Baby McAfee won.
Yeah, he won this week.
He won the
And-
PAO championship.
So yeah, similar situations. What was it, yesterday?
I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
I didn't click on it because I didn't work much today. But I mean, no. What are you saying? When I'm at work, I click on the section stuff. What's going on?
That's
okay.
part of his job.
It's part of my job to keep up with.
I thought you meant on like Instagram or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
Well, I did. I know.
I didn't
he
click
did.
on that shit because I was.
No,
you know,
no,
I
he
wasn't
did.
working.
He
Yeah,
did
it's
post it on his Instagram, so I saw it. But I didn't.
Yeah.
I just saw the championship but I didn't.
Did you see the scores?
You know what's
No.
and I'm not not busting balls here. I was, because I follow a Pat McAfee show too. I'm scrolling down through, and I was like, "Fucking Pat McAfee won a golf tournament." I'm not even kidding, dude. I swear. I had to zoom in. I almost texted him. I was just like, "Holy shit!" I legit thought that.
He won it 2 over. He said it was like 30-mile-an-hour winds and pouring down rain.
Where?
Dude, like one of the best players in Philly shot 88 or something like that.
Where was this event?
I think it was Union League down at the Shore.
Oh.
Yeah, and I heard it was like crazy. Like he won by 2 shots at
Really?
2+2. Yeah.
Well, shout out. A win is a win. I mean,
win. Oh no, look,
that was.
I, mean,
I guess
obviously,
that's the British Open kind of.
crazy numbers. Really, really difficult golf course.
What you want to see in a golf?
And look. I mean, I think we all. Well, you played with them. Tyler, I don't think has played with them yet, but I play with Anthony a lot. Anthony is going to be one of the best players in Philadelphia when he gets it all figured out and knows exactly how he needs the game plan for all these courses. Once he figures out these courses, forget it.
He gave me a nice.
He is good.
He gave me a nice little lesson one time.
He is
really
good,
helpful.
Man.
Still use it.
That kid can hit it.
Yeah, he can hit it almost as far as me, but he can hit it.
Well, speaking of Anthony, him and I had a match. I had to play him in our section match.
Oh,
play.
that's right, match play. And so how'd that go?
Yeah.
He didn't make enough putts. Let's just say that.
Where'd you close him out at?
I don't know, 16.
Oh, so it wasn't like an 8 or 9 and 8.
No, he just didn't. No, I mean, but here's the thing.
I mean,
right?
I'm sorry, I got to
All right.
say it because Mike's a stick, and anytime you play with him, all he's got to do is start a little jabbering about this and that, about I'm tinkering with this and I'm tinkering with that, and then he hits the ball 350 yards. And it's like, eat a bag, man. You can eat it, man.
No, so you ready for this? Like, this is how much respect I have for Anthony. Okay, and I'll tell you who my next opponent is in a minute. But so we're on the 9th hole. I win the 9th hole to go 4 up at the turn. All right. And what I said to myself on the 10th tee box was, don't lose this golf tournament because he ain't going to miss a golf shot coming in. And when I say he didn't miss a golf shot, my goodness, it was super impressive. He just literally didn't make a putt. He should have birdied 10, 11, 12, 13, eagle 14, birdie 15, birdie 16. He should have. That was what his score should have been. That's how close he hit it to the hole.
So he was playing like Sergio.
I mean, it was ridiculous to watch. I'm sitting there, and we're on a par 5. We're on a par 5, and it's like 305 to cover the bunker. And I think he said to me, like, what'd you get? And I was like, oh, like 305. And he was like, whatever. Just kind of like shook it off, and I'm playing left. He just bombs over the bunker on this par 5, has like a 9-iron in, hits it to 4 feet. And I'm just like, I have 5 wood in my hand. How the hell do I compete with this? Right? And I hit it up there left. I try to make my chip. I hit it up to a foot away, tap in birdie. And I'm like, well, I'm going to lose the hole. Like, get ready to go 2 down because I lost the hole before to a birdie, right? And he missed the putt. And then I make a 6-footer slider down the hill on the next hole for par. And he missed his short birdie putt again. And, I mean, that's what happened.
I'll tell you what.
But the kid can hit it.
Oh, I no doubt that he can. But there's something to be said about when a guy's dropping putts, the added pressure that you have now to make these putts. Yeah. You know, you could drop a 13-footer on me, and then I've got a 6 or 7-footer, and I'm like, oh, he just put it in from that. I've got to make this.
Yeah, it didn't help him with him knowing that, hey, he can make any putt that he's looking at out here. Because I did make a lot of putts. I missed 1 short putt that day, but for the most part, I made every putt. Yeah. And he didn't make the putts, and that was the difference. Like, when I look back at that, I should have lost probably 6 and 7. Like, seriously, that's how good he hit it.
Yeah, Drew, you're spot on. Like, when you're sitting at 6 feet and somebody's draining them from 15, after a while it does wear. If it wears on you, man. It's a hard thing to do to keep up with that.
I mean, I played with Michael and another fellow co-worker of ours, Kevin Rossi, and Michael shot a 64 and missed 3 birdie putts that just had it in her mouth, and the kids walked in, just
Yep.
lipped right out.
That's my favorite.
And you know, and it's like he shot a 64 and he missed 3 birdie putts. Like, seriously, like it was that. I mean,
That's wild.
and it's funny because we were talking about caddying, and we get to the 10th hole, and I was loving it because I was able to get some high noons. I think I drank 2 of them before we teed off on the 10th hole.
What time?
We teed off at 7:40 in the morning, and I was playing the first 8 holes. I didn't know where the ball was going, and then I see the clubhouse in the background on 9, stripe it down the middle. They hit it in the rough. They were like, "Just go to the bar and get your drink." I'm like, "No, I'm playing this hole out." I hit my second shot to like 4 feet. They're like, "Just go get your beers. We'll give you that." And I'm like, "No, I've got to make this. Like, I'm playing bad." So I birdied 9.
You make it?
10, oh yeah, birdied 9, ran into the clubhouse, got my high noons, birdied 10. But on the 10th hole, I'm like, Michael, what are you doing? Like it just didn't set up for his shot shape shot, whatever.
Shot shape.
Blah blah blah.
Right, he got it right the first time, right?
He got it right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is he doing here? And he's just like, watch how I play this hole, Drew.
Oh, that's when
He
you know it's
proceeds
over.
to drive it through the fairway. I don't even know if it was in play or not. And then I think it was, and then he hits a little stinger into the rough in front of the green. Meanwhile, I'm like 4 feet for birdie standing there watching him do this. And he's like talking about how he wants to caddy for me. And I'm like watching him do this. And after he gets it after he finishes the hole, he's like, "You like how I played that hole?" And I'm like, "No,
when you
I
know.
don't like how you play that."
So you know Mike is half.
But I think that
shoved
was
up and ready.
he still
ready
shot
to
a
go.
64 after playing that hole like dog shit.
So you want to know who my next opponent is? I just looked it up.
Please.
Braden Shattuck.
I was gonna say it was Shattuck.
Braden Shattuck. Just looked it up. I didn't know they played their match. They must have played it today.
Who did he play?
Andrew Turner.
Okay.
Another good player. So
Where's-
it'll be Braden and I in the semis at playing Aronimink on October 5th. And then whoever wins that match will play. I don't know. The other guys didn't play yet.
Is it
so I
just
don't know
18
who-
holes?
Our match will be 18 holes.
I'll caddy for you.
I was just gonna offer to caddy for him. I was looking at the
Aronimik's
schedule.
taking care of everything. It's like
I can't
it's
that
like
day.
you get to the semifinals. So it's 36 holes in one day. You go to Aronimik.
special.
We'll go there. We'll have some fun. We'll play our golf.
We can't let outside caddies in. We got too many secrets on this.
I can't wait though
Dude,
because
BYOC.
Yeah,
Like, come
exactly.
on, man.
I mean I'll ask. I don't have a problem. I'm sure Braden
Both
will
of us
ask.
will
Braden has a caddy. Obviously, I mean
Yeah, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
What the hell?
I'll ask him. I'm playing with him tomorrow. Well, he's in my group tomorrow. I'm not playing with him. I'm playing with Hugh Riley tomorrow. You know Hugh.
I do.
Yeah, I'm playing with Hugh tomorrow and the junior pro, senior pro, and Braden's in our group.
Where's that?
Bala Golf Club, awesome golf course.
Okay.
It's a par 68, I believe. It's in Philadelphia. It's in the city.
Short.
Private course. It's so good. It's so much fun. I'm gonna have a blast. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the match with Braden. Like, I just want to see, okay, how can I measure up to our national champion in match play? Stroke play, it's hard to beat that guy.
Put it in the fairway.
But in match, I'm not going to miss fairways. I can already tell you that. I'm not going to miss them,
Keep it in
especially at
there?
Aronimink. The fairways are big over there. You
Okay.
can hit fairways. I know that my length is not going to be my advantage. My advantage is going to be piss Braden off by hitting every fairway and hitting every green. It's all my goal is shoot 2 under, right? Like go out there, hit every fairway, hit every green, make a couple putts, and call it a day. And hope that that's good enough to beat him.
Yep.
Right? Like, hope that he gets a little squirrely with the driver because he's at, 140-mile-an-hour club head speed. Like, it's ridiculous, right? Like, hope he gets a little squirrely with that, gets in some bad lies in the rough, and get a little bit of a break here and there and take advantage of the breaks. And that's all I'm going to hope for. But I just want to see how I measure up against him, right? I mean, he's a national champion. I've played enough golf with him.
I can tell you this much.
I have beat him in the past.
If I show up on the first tee with your bag on my back, you're going to win because he's going to look over at me and be like, oh, no.
Especially when you rip a high noon right
No,
out. Mikey's
I'm
bag.
I'm not doing that to him.
Not
I
in
will
his bag.
not. I'm not getting in his head because it will get in his head. It will.
This is match play, Michael.
It
This
will.
isn't.
No.
This is match
No.
play, and no. Again,
It's a
I
gentleman's
love
game,
Braden.
Drew.
I love Braden, but if Braden said to me, "Hey, I want you to caddy for me on the first tee. We're not going to tell Mike, but you're going to show up, and you'd see me. It'd feel
So I would
different.
love it. I would love it if I saw you. It would actually calm
You'd
me
probably
down.
actually go.
It would calm me down.
What do you think would mess with his head with Drew showing up?
Just Drew and I, and just the conversation that would happen. Drew probably drinking a couple Nooners out there. Like, it wouldn't be your ordinary round of golf. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
It would be so much fun.
It would be fun.
It would be fun.
And you
I
know
don't
what?
Drew, can you make it around there, caddy?
I don't know. I don't
Can
think.
you make
I don't.
it? What do you mean?
I don't.
Physically?
I'm being. Hey, he's asking a legit question. You guys can laugh. I don't think so. I really don't think so, because I had to walk from the 16th hole at
It's
Sauk.
fucking 6 miles, dude. You can't walk 5 to 6
No,
miles.
I think it's more than 6. I think it's like 8.
Listen,
No.
listen. I walked off Saucon Valley after getting in a fight with my brother-in-law on the 16th hole, and carried my bag from the 16th over the 17th to the 18th to the parking lot. And when I got to the 17th fairway, about 200 yards from them, I was like, this is a mistake. My bag is way too heavy. I got way too much stuff in here. So, no, I don't think I physically could do it.
Maybe that's what I'd do. I'd load up the bag so Drew only makes it like 4 or 5 hours.
And then you got to call in back up, and then Tyler comes in. Dude, that is a total strategy we could play.
Yeah.
Like, you just have, I just can't make it. I get drunk. I'm too drunk to make it. Boy, I bet the section would get a fucking email about that. Man, Michael Little brought out this drunk. He's doing shots. Next thing you know, Fireball, he's walking down the fairway with a Fireball bottle in his mouth, not even taking it out. Like,
Is this the same fucking dude complaining about the courses?
Yeah, right?
listen, I wouldn't talk in anybody's backswing, and I wouldn't sound like I wouldn't sound like a bulldozer when I was trying to tee off.
They're going to have Drew's picture in the section office.
Please do.
He is not welcome in the PGA of America.
So guess what? I'm already in. Ain't nothing they can do about it now.
If they hear this podcast, they're going to make all the sections you have to walk and carry your own bag.
Yeah, right? And Drew has to
automatic
caddy.
Automatic DQ.
Not
dude.
for 36 holes. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do that for
Yeah,
36.
you caddy for 36 holes out there?
No.
He said he can't caddy 18.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I had the privilege of
What happens if I beat Braden and then we have to go another match?
Yeah.
That's not the same day.
Yo, it's the same day. We're 36 in one day out there.
Oh, no. I won't be there.
Oh, yeah.
I won't be
Oh,
there.
yeah,
Sorry about that.
I'll be stretching if
So
if
I-
make
One
it through.
caddy.
I'll be stretching.
exactly. I'm out. I actually had the privilege of last year at the BMW at Wilmington being inside the ropes. And we followed Morikawa and Tom Hoagie. That was 7,700 yards that we walked that day with them. And
You had a bag?
no, just physically, and I couldn't drink.
Obviously could have not.
I know.
I mean, imagine him in New Mexico with me this year.
I don't want to caddy. I just want to be there as moral support.
No, I'm just saying moral support. You wouldn't have been able to walk that course then if this is the way
Oh
you're
no,
talking.
no. Yeah. I can
Why
do
don't
it.
you just come and rip it? You could
Yeah.
be the Happy Gilmore heckler.
And you should get one of those like caddy bags that are coolers.
You
can
will
put
not
your
make this putt, you
high knees in there.
jackass.
Actually, what if I dressed up like Braden?
I know someone that has his outfit and dressed up like him.
Or just get a picture
that has
of
done
his
it.
face on a golf shirt, just
Yeah,
walking
that's the
around all
move.
day. You know,
Or
again,
get
Braden,
a
we're not
fathead
trying to
printout.
do
No,
anything
that's what
other
we're
than.
doing in Myrtle Beach. Remember?
Oh yeah.
We're getting the shirts and going to Myrtle Beach and heckling them down there.
You could do a fathead printout and just dress like him and then put the head right over yours and just walk next to him the whole time.
Or what about the big cutout boards of the face, and I just hold it up like when one's hitting, when Michael's hitting, I just hold his up, and when Braden's hitting, I'll hold Braden's up. It's almost like the guy that holds up the sign that's like "Quiet, please." I'll just have the big sign of their face. Boy, you guys would hate me.
No, I would actually enjoy that. I really would. I like distractions like that. That's easy because
I think it's all fun and games with that kind of stuff. You know, trying to, and don't think it doesn't happen on tour. Don't think these guys walk by these other guys and make little comments to their buddies
the
and
stuff I heard at Marion for the Open, like just walking along.
oh
They're getting chirped at all day. I mean, most of it's nice. I mean, the majority of it's nice and still a distraction. But I mean, you get some people really getting in.
Dude, imagine 16 at Scottsdale. Come on.
Oh well, that's a whole different. You just gotta you gotta embrace that.
Of course, you know it's coming there, but
you have
still,
to
I
embrace
mean,
it.
I just hope I don't shit my pants before I get to the tee box. That's all I'm talking about. That's all I would think of. Speaking of the tour, what's going up this weekend? The Ryder Cup. And I know you don't want to talk about it because we had this conversation pre-podcast, and Michael just doesn't care about the Ryder Cup, and that's okay. He doesn't have to.
Why?
let me. All right, so
This is.
I'm calling him out, but that's okay.
he is calling me out.
call
That's
out.
fine. He can call me out. I don't care. I think that Dustin Johnson deserves to be on the Ryder Cup team,
Yeah.
and I think Bryson DeChambeau deserves to be on the Ryder Cup team. Like,
Yeah. Over who?
I don't know. I don't even honestly. This is how bad it is. I don't even know who's on the team.
Here's the thing.
I really don't.
Here's
Like,
the thing that gets me about these teams. You know, Koepka won a major. He's in. He made the team. The other guys that made the team, the guys that earned a spot deserve a spot. The guys that were picked, it's very questionable.
Who was picked?
Justin Thomas, who hasn't won
Right.
anything this year. He's in a kind of a slump. I don't think being able to go over to Rome in one tournament and the light switch is going to turn on and he's just going to become good.
Yeah, there's competitive juices there. He's going to do fine. Justin Thomas is a good pick.
I would have taken, honestly, I would have taken Keegan Bradley. He's been playing really good golf right now. He's a good player. Sam Burns made it. I don't really know much about Sam Burns, although I did see where his redneck ass shaved his mullet, and so he and Brooks have a mullet.
Yeah, they got the freedom flow going.
But Sam Burns added a little spice to it, and has USA
I like
etched
that.
in this. You like that? How stupid is that?
What do you mean?
What
Why
European
is that stupid?
What European player is gonna be like not classy and gonna shave Euro?
Yeah,
or
nobody's fucking head is big enough to fit Europe on there.
They could put EU.
Drew's hating on this one because
I think
he can't
it's-
grow a mullet.
I can grow a mullet.
I was thinking about growing a mullet today.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I think
what
it's
is wrong?
corny. I think go out there and play golf. Don't go out there and try to be like Ricky or Ricky made the team. I don't think Ricky had any business making the team.
I mean, Ricky finished the year really good.
yeah.
Ricky
But
deserves to be
Lucas
on the
Glover
team.
finished the year really good, and he's getting to that point where this is his last chance to make a Ryder Cup. He didn't get it. He
Look,
didn't
at the
get
end
in.
of the day, the captain is in charge of making the picks.
Yeah.
Let the captain make the picks.
So-
he felt that he's
He's going to die on the sword too, because I'm telling you that your European team is stacked. Hovland, hottest player on the planet.
Once you shave Europe in your head, then. You know?
Trust me, I've got a big fucking pumpkin head. I can shave Europe
Yeah, I
in my
bet
head.
you can. You sound like you want to.
Why don't you show us your shaved head? Oh, you can't grow hair, can you? Oh,
I could still grow it on the sides and shave USA into my hair.
but how dumb would you feel?
Bald, pretty dumb. Just because the top, though. But if I had a sick mullet,
Again, no. I just think here's the thing. I think the USA team, when they go over to Europe, the Europeans plot out the course to where it's to their advantage. We do the same thing. The only difference is when we plot it out for power. They plot it out for strategy, being able to hit fairways, being able to hit greens. I think they're going to win big.
it's
I think
a good
the
thing we
Europe
have
team.
better haircuts.
I think the Europe team is going to win big, and I think it's going to be because you've got your Spieths and your JTs. They've done it year after year after year, but Tiger's not even a co-captain.
Yeah, why is that? Anyone know?
I don't know.
No idea. How big do you think?
He's not even there.
No,
How big do you
he
think?
may
they're-
be, but he's not on the. He's not
Well,
listed.
he's just caddying for his kid like yesterday. Well,
How
doesn't
big
mean
do you
anything,
think the
but-
European team's going to win?
They're probably going to win.
Give me a plus minus.
Well, no. Here's it's points.
Well, no, I know. Give me a plus. You're Vegas now. Give me a plus minus.
Well, when I say I gamble, I only gamble like stuff I can control.
Well, right. Give me a minus, and then
I-
we're going to bet on it.
I think they're gonna. I think it's not even gonna get to the singles day. I think the singles day is not even gonna. It's not even gonna come down to it.
No, it will. It will.
All right. So your bets that it won't get to the singles day. How much do you want to bet on that?
Let's go $20 that it doesn't go to the singles, and then if it does get to the singles day, I'll go 100 that the European win.
Crickets.
Let me think about that.
You can let us know after the pod. You don't have to
That's
commit
fine.
none.
I'll take the action on that it gets to the singles day.
Okay.
I got to look
Absolutely
at the
will.
full
100%.
European roster
Okay.
because I haven't looked at
It's
it yet. So
stacked, and those guys again. Anytime that they
I
have
don't think there's any way it doesn't get to the singles day though. That would be insane.
the Presidential Cup or the President's Cup 3 years ago at Liberty
Totally different
National.
golf tournament.
Yeah.
How is it totally,
Totally
different?
different golf tournament.
How is it
All
totally
right,
different?
we'll go action on the singles day.
I don't shake hands with dirty people.
Come on.
Oh my
I'm
God.
left-handed. Like you've got to come on.
I'm
What?
ambidextrous.
You don't
wanna go
shake
lefty?
hands with your right hand?
No.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What?
I'm lefty.
No.
Get out of here. Give me a right hand
mean?
shake. This is called an American handshake.
See,
Yeah, right.
All right? Fucking
Right,
European. This dude is he just bet on Europe.
Right.
Hey, my name's Drew. I'm here.
Listen, people from the
I'm
South
from
can
the
like
South
Europe
here,
too.
and I'm here to gamble on Europe.
People
I
from
will.
The South don't talk
And
right.
you know what? Look at. I'm wearing the USA colors tonight.
Oh,
That's
this
how much
dude
faith I
is-
have in the European team.
This dude is sacrilege.
But let's do this.
Let's
if
wrap
it gets
this
to
up.
singles, we'll change. We'll talk about the singles bet.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we'll figure that out.
All right,
I'm
we
gonna-
need
I'm
we
gonna
need a
like
post
plus-
pod on this.
Yeah.
We need to.
Oh, trust me. You just
I want to see.
follow me on
you-
Instagram, and you will see all the excitement when I post of the every
Venmo
time.
post?
Oh, you're gonna love it. Absolutely love it. Well, guys, this has been fun. It's fun to get the gang back together, talk about things. Michael, again, I'm proud of you. I think you're an outstanding human being most of the time, and I'm glad that things worked out for the best. And anybody out there that thinks differently, come talk to me.
Call
Fuck
Drew.
yourself.
Come talk to me.
All right, we're gonna present Mike with this $15,000 check now. So
That'd
to
be,
you guys.
that'd be great if Sean just came out
Yeah,
back
right?
with a
Wait, where's the check?
$15,000 check. And then we were like, sorry.
yeah, you actually can't cash these big checks.
You know, I actually still have that big check that I got, and I just I put it in my room, and it just reminds me like
Just write
Dummy.
just write void on
No,
it.
It
dummy.
should remind you.
Make
of
sure
honor.
your score is
integrity,
Just write void on it.
honor, and integrity. You give that to
Yes,
the kids.
it reminds me of
You
that
frame
too.
that and
But
give
what
that
it
to the
reminds me
kids.
of is that I have to do a better job at the scorecard, plain and simple.
Fine.
So,
Stupid
Drew,
rule.
Drew,
Stupid rule,
thanks for taking control of this. I felt like a guest tonight on your podcast, so I appreciate that, Drew. Thank you.
You're more than
Tyler,
welcome.
always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, love being here.
Sean, thanks for coming in, doing our podcast. The guy behind the scenes. We never give him too much love.
Sean's still the best.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
And we'll wrap it up with that.
Peace.